Hello everyone, my name is Nick Blackburn, aka the Pain 105, and I am really excited today because I get to do something that I always wanted to do as far as gameplay and walkthroughs for my channel. I get to play not only a slightly remake of one of the original games I enjoy, but actually one of the first games that I ever played for the PlayStation series. I will be doing a complete walkthrough of Final Fantasy VII. There's two reasons why I wanted to do this. One reason was because of the special credit movies that I saw at the E3 Expo not too long ago. They're doing a full CGI remake of this game. I'll show you the video right quick.
Long ago, we looked upon a foreboding sky. The memory of the star that threatened all burns eternal in our hearts. In its wake came an age of silence. Yet with each fond remembrance, we knew those encountered were not forgotten. That someday we would see them again. Perhaps it was no more than wishful thinking. But after the long calm, there are now the beginnings of a stir. The reunion at hand may bring joy, it may bring fear, but let us embrace whatever it brings. For they are coming back. At last, the promise has been made.
Now, after watching that video, I was planning with the idea of actually purchasing this for the PlayStation 4, but due to the fact that I don't have a PVR, which I plan on getting, but it's going to take a little time down the road before I can actually use a PVR system. Plus I need a better laptop and application system, and I need to familiarize myself with Fraps, because lately the only editing software system I've only been using is the SHAREfactory, which so far is still phenomenal, but I would still like to do other platforms and other games on different platforms like Xbox or PC, Flash games, you know, other games that also gain popularity. Because I know eventually the channel's going to get stale if I only do PlayStation 4 style games. But that's future plans. But for right now, we are going to start a nostalgic walkthrough of Final Fantasy VII. And with that being said, let us begin the journey. Yeah, the standard controls are still the same. This is start. R2 is the target. R1 is next page. Previous page. Okay, I'm just getting familiarized with the controller layout. Alrighty, let us begin. And just for the record, guys, being the game itself does not have any voice acting, it's mostly inbox text. I'm not going to be able to read all of them. Well, I probably can read all of them, but I'm not going to read all of them. But I will leave them out there to the point where they can be easily set and read for those who wants to read the inbox text at home. But I also kind of go hand in hand on the story plots here and there. A flower girl walking in the middle of the night with a basket of flowers, middle of downtown Midgar. And I could tell a slight difference in graphics from the original. This one's a little bit more smoother. And yes, the original one was released for the PlayStation in 1997. Funny story about that was, when I first got my PlayStation, I only had enough money to get, well, I didn't have the money for it, but my parents, they only had enough money to get 2 different types of games. At the time, I had choices between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII. And what I ended up doing was, I ended up asking my dad to get Final Fantasy VIII. But my friend, who stayed in another township, he got Final Fantasy VII. And after I beat 8, we switched. And while I'm going over my story, I'm going to work on my configurations. And during that time, after we reconfigured on some of the... See, I'm throwing off and doing multiple things at once. After I beat Final Fantasy VIII, me and him, we switched. And he ended up keeping FF8 and I ended up keeping FF7. And we just kind of lost contact over the years and I wasn't able to give it back to him. But yeah, I'm going to kind of edit a little bit here and there. I ain't going to make you watch all of this. When I get done with my configurations, we'll start the storyline from that point on. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright guys, I'm back. So here we go. Going into our first battle. And it just so happens we're taking on the military police. Make quick work of them. Okay, and I wasn't able to get items off of him. I did manage to get some potions off of the first guy that's closer to the screen, but... And here is the team of Avalanche. As of right now, we are rendezvous with 3 members of Avalanche. And the story basically behind Avalanche is the main leader, which they're going to introduce his name in a little bit. He's had some issues with a company called Shinra, and Shinra is more like a giant resource conglomerate. And as far as names, I'm not going to rename them. Why change something that's already perfect? I mean, Final Fantasy VII, main member, Cloud Strife. He's the main protagonist. He deserves to have his name out there. I'm not changing it. So Avalanche is basically like a, I guess you can call them a non-profit militia. They have a strong agenda against Shinra, and Shinra relies on Mako energy to provide common resources and utilities for everyday city and day-to-day living. But you're going to understand why Avalanche has a strong agenda against them and why they're doing these operations that we're currently on now. And this is the leader of Avalanche, Barrett Wallace. And as far as some of the most powerful members you can have in your party, Barrett and Cloud are the top two, in my opinion. Cloud being in close range and Barrett for close and long range. And here we are in another battle. Most of the battles for right now are going to be straightforward. You mostly come up across MPs, or military police, that they're called. And you'll mostly run into cybernetic or robotic enemies. Some their names are simple and some are kind of out there. And I do have a guide telling me what stats they are and what weaknesses they have and what items they normally drop and etc. So I'm not completely blind. But even without the guide, there's things I know about the game that I got memorized. But you won't be able to tell through editing, so the story will be going pretty smoothly. And it surprises me that Barry would ask Cloud this question, because Cloud is a member, or was a member of Soldier, and Soldier is actually a mercenary company under contract with Shinra, and they enhance their combatants with Mako energy for combat efficiency. And see, Barrett's explaining why he wants to destroy the reactors, because the Mako energy that this reactor sucking is actually the lifeblood of planet. And the planet, I believe, is called Gaia, which is spelled G-A-I-A. And there's a lot of story to the planet, and there's a lot of backstory for the characters too, but I'll progressively advance further story-wise when we advance further into the campaign. Yep, there's an item down here. I believe it's a Phoenix Down. Yep. But as of right now, Avalanche is composed of... Let's see. As of right now, they're composed of 5 members, not including Cloud, which is Jesse, Wedge, Biggs, and Barrett being the group leader or the commander. Cloud is a contractor hired by Avalanche. And why he went against Soldier and working for them, well, we'll get into that sooner. But as far as right now, I'm just going to keep it simple. And I will be doing everything maxed out and everything, or trying my damnedest to max everything out within a time window. Even when the remake comes out, I will be playing that too. But yeah, as far as the battle system configuration is pretty much simple. Once you engage in combat, you usually go through attack, magic, and you have other commands that you'll get later on. But the unique different system about Final Fantasy's battle system is derived from the material they use. Like for instance, Cloud. Now Cloud's pretty much well balanced at the moment. He uses a weapon called a Buster Sword, which is basically like a heavy tempered sword that could pretty much cut through thick layers of armor. But he also uses elemental materia, or green materia, as is called in the guide. As of right now, he has ice materia and he has lightning materia, which leads him to use spells like ice and bolt. And as you level up, you also level up your materia when you have it equipped to your weapons or your armor. But the difference too is the limit break system is pretty much simple and it has different configurations. But the majority of the time it's basically simple. As of right now, they're all level 1 as you start out, but as you progress further into the story and as you build your characters up, you also level up in your limit breaks. But as of Barrett, his limit break system is basically simple, but he has no magic because as of right now, he's not equipped with any materia. And the system for the materia is pretty different. Certain materials will increase your attributes, and certain materials will also take away or lower your attributes to a certain degree. Like for instance, if I was to take the materia off of Cloud, the lightning and the ice he has, his health will actually increase and his attack power will also increase, but his magic would decrease, and vice versa. And there's some materials that doesn't have much effect on that at all, but we'll go further into that later. But the difference is also in the order and positions that you have your party in. In this position you have what's known as the front line and the back line. Right now, Cloud and Barrett are in the front line, which means they can get up close and they can do the most damage, but they can also take direct damage at the exact same time. Their defense is not as strong. Now if I was to say put Barrett in the back line, his defense would be high, and if he happens to be using a weapon that was short range, his attack percentage will also drop. But if he's using a long range weapon, the attack percentage is unaffected. It stays the same. Same thing with magic. Magic is unaffected, stays the same. But for right now, I'm keeping both of them in the front line. And we're just going to move on forward. And I will not be recording all the battles, just for the sheer fact that it does get tedious. But some of the epic battles I will have recorded, and I know everyone's not going to be wanting to watch every single battle because it does get tedious and no one doesn't watch anyone else grind. Most of the time when you watch walkthroughs like this, you're mostly invested into the story or how to get certain items and materials and things like that. I mean, you see it right there. I mean, it was pretty much basically simple. I was holding down the X button the whole time. But you won't see too many of those battles. As a matter of fact, from this point on, I'll probably be editing. And besides, from one other member that we'll meet later on, Jessie is the only female member in Avalanche, with the exception of one other member. And our current objective now is we got to go down to the reactor and we got to plant the bomb. And then we got to head out of there, and that should be a simple mission on itself. But I will be doing these daily, and I'll be getting them rendered and edited out as often as I can. And I will be reading all the comments in each video every day. So if you have any suggestions or if you have any ideas as far as how to change up different battle tactics or how to different side missions that I can take a part on, or how certain things is, I'm willing to know, and I'm willing to read them, and I'm willing to take your advice under strong consideration. I mean, because besides the sense of nostalgia, I'm actually doing this for my subscribers who happen to be a big fan of this game, excuse me. And I got a potion off of that battle, so that was pretty good. But as of right now, I'm actually going to stop it right here, and I'm going to do some editing, and I will see you in a few minutes. Alright guys, we're back, so let's go set that bomb. And right here's another magic material, restore. We won't be able to equip it yet, but once we advance further into the campaign, we'll be able to have full access to all our materials and be able to give them to whoever needs them the most. In actuality, as far as the series, I only know of three characters in the Final Fantasy franchises that were of African American design. I mean, with the exception of Barrett, there was Kuros from FF8, and then there was, I believe, Satch from Final Fantasy 13. So as far as the Final Fantasy series, they were always trying to be politically correct in most of their endeavors, but at the same time, you can only expect so much out of a Japanese title like Final Fantasy, so if something you happen to see in the videos doesn't seem quite right, I apologize in advance. And this is our first boss, team speak. This is our first boss fight. We're fighting the Guard Scorpion. It's a simple, pretty much, boss fight. I mean, he's a robot that's in the shape of a scorpion. He pretty much scans, and then after he scans the target, he attacks. Hit him with thunder magic and physical attacks, and then once you get a limit break, pummel him with it. Pretty much self-explanatory. And I'm having to hold back on my command. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm having to hold back on my commands right quick because I'm waiting for him. There we go. When he raises his tail up, he's preparing himself for a counterattack called Tail Laser. When the Guard Scorpion does that, the best thing to do is to not attack him and wait for him to raise his tail down. Like he's doing right there. I can now attack and use magic on him. Now when he does his counterattack maneuvers like that again, basically all you do is wait until he gets done out of that phase and just heal your people up. And that's the boss fight. We won. And we got a new weapon for Barrett, which is the assault gun. Oh, by the way, Barrett's weapon is actually not really a gun. It's more like an assault prosthesis. Which, in my opinion, is pretty cool. And now, we only got 10 minutes before the bomb goes off, so we got to get out of here. But before I leave, I'm gonna go ahead and equip Barrett with this weapon. And I can't equip for that healing material yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But we're still good. I mean, we got a little over 9 minutes left, so we should be fine. I missed.